Welcome to the 6 Miles to Supper podcast. I'm your host, Kayla Cox, and I've lost over 80 pounds with intermittent fasting 6 days a week, eating whatever I wanted at my meals, taking a cheat day every Sunday, and walking 6 miles a day. And I'm here to help you on your weight loss journey. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the holidays during the weight loss journey. Now, as of this recording, we're about a week away from Thanksgiving, and I am excited because I'm going up to see my family in Georgia, and I haven't seen them in a year, and what a year it has been. I think to say that it's been a rough year for all of us would be maybe an understatement, but I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody, hugging everybody. Yes, I am still very much a hugger and a handshaker for anyone who still feels comfortable doing that. So the thing though about the holidays is they can also be a stressful time, especially on the weight loss journey. As much as we love these times, it's also kind of a big challenge if you're trying to lose weight. Back in 2016, I lost the bulk of my weight between January 2016 and November of 2016. When I got to the holidays that year, I was in maintenance mode, and I kind of didn't know what to do. I kind of felt like I'm not sure what my rules should be. So it's just been a process of kind of taking the holidays as they come and figuring this out. But I have learned how to enjoy the holidays, back before I lost the weight. So, basically my entire life up until this point, I would traditionally be on some sort of diet plan, but the holidays would usually derail it. And if they didn't derail it, I would be miserable during the holidays because nothing I wanted to eat was on the plan. But in 2016, I decided, I am going to figure out how to do both, how to, not go completely off the rails, but also really enjoy the time. And I wasn't sure how that was going to look. And again, it was trial and error. So in this episode, I'm going to just go through some tips to help you as you're moving along through the holidays on the weight loss journey to have a good, enjoyable time. So the first tip is have a plan. Now, the thing about it is you're probably, if you don't currently have a written plan, you're probably very resistant to the idea of writing one down. And I can say that I was there, back in 2015, I didn't want to write anything down, like to say what I'm committed to doing. But once I did that, that's when the magic started to happen. And you may be thinking, well, I'll do that in January. I'll wait because, the holidays are here and I don't want to have to deal with all this. But I'm telling you, I think the holidays are the absolute best time to write down your plan. And here's why. You're going to be honest with yourself about what you are willing to do, because this is the time of year when all the delicious foods are around and you are pretty honest with yourself about here's what I want to eat. If you wait until January, likely you'll be like I was for most of the time of my life, which was I was really unrealistic in January. Like, oh, I'm not going to eat any processed foods and I'm not going to have any carbs. And you end up with a really unsustainable plan. But if you do it right now, right in the thick of things, when things are crazy and schedules are crazy, which is real life, by the way, it's the most real of real life that you're going to get during the year. So write down a plan. I would encourage you to write down a plan for going off plan. For me, I call it my code. And that's just, for those times that come up in life where it doesn't really make sense for me to be on plan that day. So for example, part of my code is I take the holiday, the actual day completely off. So 4th of July, Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, all those different holidays, I take them completely off, meaning I'm not going to do any kind of intermittent fasting that day, and I'm probably not going to get my steps in. It varies for me. That's more of a personal thing. How does my schedule actually look that day, and how am I actually feeling, and what do I want to do? But that's what my code looks like. And I would encourage you to build your own code based on what you want your life to look like. Now, one thing I had to figure out for myself was, what do I want my December to look like? Because in our household, we love to bake. I love to bake. My kids love to bake. We love Christmas movies. We like going and looking at Christmas lights. There's lots of fun things that we like to do during the month of December. And so what I had to decide for myself was, I want a lot of freedom during that time, a lot of days off. Like I want it to be where, if one of my kids says, hey, if we get done with schoolwork early today, can we watch Christmas movies and make cookies? I want to be able to say yes, and not to feel like, well, yeah, I mean, I'm going to be fasting, but you guys do whatever you want. Like, no, I want to have that day with them, because my kids are only going to be kids for a short amount of time, and they're going to grow up and they're going to be out of the house before I know it. And so I really want to enjoy every second that I have with them. And so that means that for me, December, usually has a lot of off days, which leads me to tip number 2. And that is accept the natural consequences. So if you decide to be like me and you choose to have a good many off days during, December, accepting the fact that you're probably going to either gain a few pounds or you're not going to lose any weight at all during that month. My personal experience with this has been that I usually only, like my 7-day average usually only moves up about a pound. But, 1 year it was like 3 pounds. Okay. So, and which was really interesting to me, because I felt like during the time, like, man, I'm like taking so many days off and I'm eating so much delicious food. I really thought I would gain a lot, but I just didn't. And, but the thing was, is I accepted what I was doing. I was being intentional with it and accepting the consequences. And I think that works a kind of magic, because then you don't feel guilty at all. There's no guilt because you're doing this on purpose. You're okay with the consequences. And I think before, what I would traditionally do in years past would be like, oh, I'm going to be good, and I'm not going to eat any cookies this year. I'm going to stay away from sweets. And then eventually, I would eat a cookie. And then that would lead to lots of cookies and lots of guilt, and then more cookies to make me feel less guilty, or to, it's like a vicious cycle. So, just accepting that there's going to be a natural consequence. If you have lots of off days, be willing to accept that you're probably going to have a little bit of weight gain. But to me, I thought, okay, but I'm okay with that. Like, I know that for me, especially at the weight I'm at right now, like it's going to be like, a third of a pound a week to lose, any weight that I gain. So, okay, like let's say I gain 5 pounds, that's 15 weeks. Okay, I can do that. I'm willing to do that. That's okay with me. Now, that might be unacceptable to you. So just decide that for yourself. I would highly recommend that you continue to track your weight, just because that way it keeps you informed. That way you don't have to think, oh, am I gaining a lot right now? Because I know that, man, if I tried to not weigh during the month of December, I would totally be stressed out. But instead, I just continue to weigh. So I keep an eye on what my weight is doing, and it gives me a lot of peace. Now, on the other hand, you may be in a place right now where you are rocking and rolling and you are losing weight, and you're thinking, I do not want to stop right now. I want to keep going. I want to keep doing my plan. And here's what I'm going to do. And that's fine. Like, I want to cheer you on. If that's the decision you make, then do that thing. If that's what you want to do, then do it. I would caution you just to watch out for resentment. If you start to notice that you are upset that other people are, enjoying cookies while you're not, then, take a moment and kind of check in with yourself and see if that's really the best plan, if you really do want to keep doing this, because resentment is always a good signal that something needs to change. And what can happen if you're feeling like you're just white knuckling it, it might be that you're going to just completely go off the tracks. I mean, really go off the rails. And that's going to land you in a much worse position than if you just gave yourself a bit more freedom. I have watched people who have tried to be super strict during the holidays, and then they break. And man, when they break, and I've also been that person too. So I'm not judging that. I'm just saying I've witnessed it. I've been there, done that. And the better way I've found is to just give yourself a bit more freedom during this time, so that you continue to stick with the plan. Now, the third tip is to stay active. If you have a step goal, keep achieving your step goal as consistently as you can. Now, look, the holidays are a time when your schedule can really get thrown off course, and there can be a lot of other stressors. And actually, that's why I would highly recommend that you keep your step goal going, or your activity, whatever it is that you do, keep doing that. It relieves stress. And the holidays are a stressful time, even if you enjoy them. A lot of times, we miss family members who have passed away, and there's just, again, the people coming in from out of town, and that throws your schedule off, and all of that can combine to just kind of make life stressful. But if you keep staying active, you'll keep your emotions more balanced, and it'll kind of keep you in a clear state of mind. For me personally, I do continue to get my steps in really consistently. Like I said, there are occasions, like the actual day of the holiday, generally speaking, will be a day I just kind of take off from steps. But sometimes I'll go ahead and get my steps in. It really just depends on the day and what's going on. The fourth tip is be intentional. Just, with everything that's going on, be intentional with your time, especially because, it's a busy time, and what can happen is you kind of can start rushing from one thing to another, and maybe even putting yourself last. But instead, stay intentional with your schedule, and also stay intentional with your money. Make a budget for Christmas and for any other kinds of activities that you're doing during this time of the year, and that way you'll have more peace. One thing that helped me was to sit down with my husband. We did this years ago. We were at a point we were deeply in debt. We were very stressed out about money, and the holidays were there. And we just had to make a decision and say, we're not buying for everybody. We're going to buy for our family, and we're going to keep it very, very simple. And we had to, talk to our extended family and say, we're not doing gifts this year. We're just doing our own little thing. And even within our own family, our immediate family, meaning me and my husband and our kids, we each get 4 gifts, and we do the little something you want, something you need, something to wear, and something to read. And that has given us so much peace during the holidays. And not only did that help our budget, our finances, but it also made our Christmas more enjoyable. Like our kids seemed to enjoy the process of opening presents more. It was kind of like before, when we would just give them a bunch of gifts, it was kind of overwhelming for them, and it was just a lot of stuff anyway. So if you're looking for a way to make your gift giving a little bit more simple, that's one idea. Now, the 5th tip is to simply enjoy yourself. Just take this time, these next few weeks, to really, truly enjoy yourself. Take extra time for yourself. Be really nice to yourself and to others, and enjoy the family. If you have family coming in, enjoy them. If you're going to visit family, really enjoy that. I would challenge you to stay off your screens as much as possible, and instead really be present where your feet are. Look everybody else in the eye, and just enjoy this time. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you have a wonderful one, and I'll see you in the next episode. Do you want to lose the weight without getting rid of the foods you love, and that you'll go back to eating again anyway? My book, The Laid Back Guide to Intermittent Fasting, teaches you how to practice intermittent fasting so that you lose the weight sustainably and keep it off for good. You can get the audiobook read by me for free when you sign up for your 30-day trial of Audible. The link is in the show notes.